Hey friends, it's Mari here. I've got another layout for the JustNick digital cut file design team, and today I'm going to be using this beautiful cut file called Butterfly. And I'm going to get to that cut file in a minute. Before I get there though, I'm going to make some of my own embellishments using this stamp set from Felicity Jane, and this is from the Megan kit. And I'm going to stamp out a couple of the butterfly images, and I'm going to stamp them onto some vellum. So I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which is a really slow drying ink. And this is really nice to use when you're going to be doing some heat embossing. So I'm stamping this out using my MISTI, and I'm stamping it onto, like I said, some vellum. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to use some clear embossing powder over top of those butterflies. So you're going to see me bring in some embossing powder here. This is Ranger Clear embossing powder. I'm just going to use this little Nuvo spoon tool, and I'm going to spoon that onto my butterflies, and I'm going to get those nice and coated with that powder. And now I'm going to heat that up and melt it. So I'm going to try to be really careful because this is a vellum after all. It's a fairly delicate paper, and I don't want to, make it start on fire or anything. So I've heated my heat tool in advance, let it run for a little minute to get it good and hot, so that when I go to the vellum, it melts the embossing powder fairly quickly. And I do heat up the back a little bit as well. I think you saw me do that. And then of course the front. And so now that's all nicely melted. I'm going to let that cool off for a minute. And now I'm going to take the dies that are also from that Felicity Jane Megan kit. And I'm going to die cut these two butterflies using those steel dies. So I'm just going to put the dies on there, and I'm going to stick them down with a little bit of Post-it tape. And that Post-it tape is really awesome because it's not too sticky. It's just tacky enough to keep those in place without damaging your paper at all. And I'm going to run that through my Big Shot, and that will give me these really two lovely little butterflies. So now that I've got those all released, I'm going to take those same dies and cut those same shapes out with some patterned paper from the Felicity Jane collection, and I'm going to back my butterflies with that pattern paper. And I'm also going to back my butterflies with a little bit of tissue paper, and I'm going to use a tissue paper from Felicity Jane. This is what the kits come packaged in, and I'm just going to cut out each of those two butterflies, and I'm going to get that all stuck together. Now, if you can hear some thumping noises in the background, I think it might be thunder, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, so I am going to run those through my Big Shot, and now you can see that I've attached all three layers together, just going to do that. So this is just some repositionable adhesive, and I'm just going to put those three layers together so that I get this really pretty little dimensional handmade embellishment for my layout. So I am going to be doing kind of a butterfly theme here. You saw that cut file at the very beginning of the video, and I am going to cut that half butterfly file 3 times from some patterned paper, and you'll see that right away here in the next segment of my video. So you can see that I've cut those 3 butterflies from the center of my paper. And this is super easy to do using the Silhouette software because obviously you can see where the center of your paper is in the Design Studio. And what I wanted to do then was take this patterned paper, which has the really pretty checked pattern on the back. And so I'm going to take those pieces that were cut out or released from the cut file, and I'm going to flip them over so that the checked or the colorful patterned paper is right side up. So you can see there, that's the pieces. I've just flipped them over. They're green or aqua on the other side. And now I'm going to place them into those little areas where they came out of the paper, just using the opposite side. And now what I've done is I've stitched them down, I've sewn them to that paper behind, which is just another pattern paper from the collection. And you can see that I sized the aqua paper down a little bit, and I don't think I've sewn it yet. I can't really tell when I'm looking at it here on my screen, but I do add a layer of machine stitching on each side where that aqua paper meets the pink paper. Actually, now I'm thinking about this, the pink paper is actually the Felicity Jane cardstock in that light pink. So now I have 3 photos that I'm going to be using here. I am going to tell you a little bit about these photos. So these photos I printed at, I believe they're 3 by 2, and I printed them in, they're not in black and white. I've added some work to them in Photoshop in Lightroom. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere them to some 6x6 pattern paper from Felicity Jane. And I'm just going to create a really simple mat on the photographs. These photos are taken the day of Bailey's wedding. You can probably tell, obviously. And this is a series of photographs that were taken of me doing up her shoes. And I love this moment. It was just really sweet. The way that she's looking at me, it almost kind of, I don't know, it's just sort of like a little princess moment or something. It's just really sweet. And I love it. And it was just it's a really nice memory from her day. And I'm so grateful that we have all these lovely photos that captured all these little moments that happened before, during, and after the ceremony. So now what I'm going to do is take little bits of the packaging from Felicity Jane, and I'm going to add those as embellishments on the sides of each of the photos. Now you can see at this point that I've added the gorgeous cut file. I love this cut file so much. I've added it to those areas, like I said, with a bit of stitching. And then what I did with the free parts of the butterfly wings is I just curved them up a little bit. I bent them so that they kind of curve and they look really dimensional in that way. And I love how this looks. I think it's really cool. Now I'm just going to add those little bits of packaging, like I said, on each side of the photo. So on the top photo, I'm going to add it to the left. On the middle photo, I'm going to add it to the right. And then on that bottom photo to the left again. And that's just going to create another little bit of layers and detail to this layout. Really simple, very, very simple. I always find when I'm working with a cut file, the cut files really do the big heavy lifting for you on a layout. And this cut file of Nicole's is gorgeous. It just goes so nicely with this collection because this collection has, obviously a little bit of a butterfly theme going on, and just perfect match made in heaven, I think. So I love how this came together. Now I'm just going to finish up adding that little bit in. Now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I really like the clean nature of this layout. I didn't want to add a ton of other stuff to it because I just felt like it was just really clean and pretty and simple, but those beautiful cut files just add the most delicate and beautiful detail to these photographs. So all I'm going to do now is just add this tag to the right of that middle photo, and that's going to be my journaling spot. I'm going to take the die cut from the collection that says beautiful, and that's going to be kind of like my title piece. And then you'll just see me adding a few other little bits and pieces, but not a ton. And the rest of the layout just comes together really quickly. So I'm just going to take my T-square ruler and make sure that I have my title piece there on there straight. And I've adhered that onto the layout with a little bit of foam adhesive, just a couple of little dimensional foam dots on either end of that die cut piece, beautiful. And I just wanted it to stand out a little bit as the top layer there. Now these little puffy hearts are so cute. I wanted to add 3 different colors from the color scheme into 3 different areas. I think I end up moving them around slightly where they originally land here, but you'll see that as the layout progresses here. Now I thought about adding some of these little floral bits on, but you know what? I just didn't think it needed it. I really loved the way that it was looking, and I decided not to add those. Now, I did do my journaling in Microsoft Word, and I measured the area on the tag with my ruler, and in Microsoft Word, I made the dimensions of my text box to match so that I knew that it would be the right size. And I have this punch in my stash. It's an older Stampin' Up! Punch. Now I've just realized I made a spelling mistake, so I have to go back and retype that, but that was fine. And then I just punched out my journaling with that punch and stuck it down. I'm also going to use some of these little sentiment stamps here to add some detail to two of the photographs. And one says time together and the other one says mini me, which I thought was super cute. It might not seem like Bailey and I look that much alike now, but when I look back at pictures of myself when I was her age, we do look very much alike. She looks quite a bit like me when I was her age. What I wanted to do now was add a little bit of gold accents. And so I haven't done this for a while, but I really wanted to reach for my Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine and add some sprinkles of gold. But what I want you to tell me in the comments below is, do you like it better without the color shine? Did you like it better when it didn't have the splatters on it? Or do you like it with the splatters? You can tell me in the comments if you feel like it. I'd just be interested to see what you think, because it does definitely add, but perhaps it looked better without. I'm not really sure. I haven't decided yet. So let me know what you think. Now, I did add a little bit of yellow baker's twine to that tag, but I ended up switching that out for some white. And you can see that I changed the position of my little puffy stickers here and there, and I added a little butterfly puffy sticker. And I think that was from the Denise collection. And I think the sentiment stamps were also from the Denise collection as well. I really like how this turned out. I hope you do too. Please don't forget to hit the like button if you like my layout today, and please subscribe if you haven't. Also, make sure you hop over to the JustNick digital cut file shop. I will leave the link in the description box below. And I did actually end up adding a little bit of gold thread to my layout underneath my little handmade butterflies. And I'm just showing you here how that looks. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate that you stopped by today. Have an amazing day, and I hope to see you again on my channel. Bye-bye.